Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want us to talk about growing food in a home garden or a small garden or a front yard, a backyard, whatever size of garden you have and you want to grow your own food. These are things you should practice to make sure that you have food all the time or at least most of the time in your garden. So in my garden, I grow fruits, vegetables, and herbs mostly. So I'm going to tell you or to show you or to help you know how I grow my own food. First of all, you need to know your area, know your location, know what food thrives there. It's always easier to grow food that is suited for your location, such that it doesn't struggle so much to grow. For example, in my area, it's a bit dry and hot. So foods like spinach, lettuce, most leafy vegetables will do well here, but also fruits do very, very well here. But when you go to a very cold area, you realize things like lettuce may not really thrive, or things like onions may not also really thrive in that area. So you need to know what location are you growing your food so that you can make the best choice of food that you grow. Number 2 is your soil. Soil is the medium through which we grow food. Mostly, there are people who grow food soilless, but mine is an organic garden and I believe that food should grow on soil. So I grow my food on soil and I make sure that my soil is of very high quality. To do that, you need to fertilize your soil, you need to keep your soil moist, and you need to keep your soil protected. So how I do that, I make sure that I put manure, I have compost. Like this one is my goat manure. You can see it's already fully decomposted. It looks like soil, and this is good compost manure, or is it goat manure, whatever manure you have. It should look like this when it's fully composted. So when you put this in your plants, you need to fertilize your plants quite often. It helps the soil structure, and it also helps feed your soil. So I use this manure as my fertilizer. So that helps you get very good quality food. Also, know the plants you can grow in full sun and the plants you can grow under shade. For me, this spinach is growing under the shade of these fruits. So in this space, I can both grow vegetables and fruits. That's because I have chosen the right crop for the right position. The spinach can do well under shade. There are crops that will not do well under shade, such as tomatoes, onions. Those ones like the full sun. This place receives partial sun. It's not fully shaded. In the morning it will receive sun, in the afternoon it's under shade, and the spinach are doing well. I can harvest. Even lettuce will do well under shade, but the fruiting crops such as onions and tomatoes would love to grow in a full sun. So number 4 is to water your plants. Make sure you water your plants deeply. Like this one, you can see here I'm practicing self-watering. In this container, I don't need to do anything because the water will just flow, and then it's under shade and it's mulched. Those are 3 things in one, and that helps that container keep watered, even if I don't come to water daily. But for the others, I can water. You need to water it very deeply, so you water slowly to make sure that the water goes deep into the container. You don't just splash the water, that will also loosen the roots. So you water slowly but surely. You make sure the water goes deep, and that helps in the root development. The roots will go where the water is and they are able to absorb the nutrients of the manure we've just put. And then that plant is strong and it keeps giving. The other thing you need to do is to harvest your plants often. For leafy greens, the more you harvest, the more you get. So for spinach, I harvest weekly. I make sure every week I come and remove the older leaves, and that will encourage new growth. I do the same for my Malabar spinach. I do the same for my sukuma wiki. I do the same for terere, managu, and all my greens. I make sure that I harvest them very, very often to make sure that I have more food. That ensures that I don't lack food at any one time. The other thing you need to do is to learn preservation methods. You can steam your spinach and your sukuma wiki and freeze them and cook them when you don't have. That way you never lack food in your garden. Number 4 is to make sure that you keep your plants very clean so that you keep away diseases. You can see, like in this container, I do have dead leaves. These ones, what I need to do is to remove them. So you can use these garden clippers to remove the dead leaves so that you also don't get diseases. So you just remove all the dead leaves all around, because these ones are not helping the plant in any way. They are just here and they can bring diseases. Make sure your tools are clean so that you also don't introduce more diseases. The cleaner the plant, the easier it is to maintain it, and it keeps on producing, as opposed to having a crowded plant with dirty leaves and dead leaves, which are not beneficial both to you and even to the plant itself. Also, you prune things like tomatoes. You keep them very clean. You can see my tomatoes here. The cherry tomato is producing very well, but you can see I've kept the plant very clean. I keep on removing the suckers, like this one doesn't have any, but you need to keep on removing this so that it keeps very nice and clean. This plant has not been sprayed anything. I've just maintained it using the normal practices like pruning and feeding the soil. You can see the soil is very rich, as I've said. That helps the plant to resist diseases. It's clean, there are no weeds also. So that will help you have very clean and you have least diseases if your plants are clean. The other thing you need to do in your garden is to weed. Make sure you weed your plants. You can see I don't have any weeds in my garden, so I keep removing them. I pass through here like every day and just remove them and just uproot them before they become too many, and then I mulch. That helps my plants to remain clean, and then they produce very well. Then the other thing you need to do is to feed your plants. I use foliar to feed mine. So there are two ways you can do this. Here I have rabbit urine. This is rabbit urine, and just use rabbit urine. I have like a liter. I had here in this container is 5 liters. It's graduated, so I can see I dilute mine 1:5. So if I put 1 liter of water, I put 1 liter of rabbit urine, I fill it with water. So this is like 2 liters of water, and just add rabbit urine like 1 liter. Then I fill it up with water. So this is rabbit urine. I use this to spray as a foliar feed and a pesticide. If you don't have rabbit urine, or you don't have somewhere to keep rabbits, you can buy these organic feeds. Like this one is called SVL, organic fertilizer, soil revitalizing soil nutrients. You can buy this, or there are so many now in the market. There's Top Gel, there's this one, there's Power Flow. There are so many of them. If you need, you can ask in the comments and I'll direct you where to get them. So you can use this one. It has the mixing instructions. So, but I prefer to use my usual rabbit urine unless I'm doing specific things like fruits. So I feed my plants often, like quickly. So you feed your crops regularly. I feed my spinach and all my vegetables with rabbit urine, or whichever foliar feed you have. I do this weekly, and I also harvest weekly. So you can see it gives results. The other thing I do in my garden, I practice crop rotation. Usually when I have grown a heavy feeder this season, the next season I grow a light feeder, or I grow a leguminous plant. Leguminous plants are like beans. So I grow beans a lot when I've removed things like tomatoes to help replenish the nitrogen in the soil. You can also grow beans, and once they have germinated, they have like 4 leaves, you plow them inside to improve the soil. So I do that a lot, and you need to do crop rotation to make sure that the diseases that affect one crop do not pile up in your soil, and also the nutrients are not depleted, because if you plant the same thing all the time at the same place, it will deplete all the nutrients that are taken up by that crop. So that soil will become nutrient deficient, so it will not keep on producing. Also, it makes the soil health very susceptible to diseases and pests. The last thing I like to tell you is experiment and enjoy. This is a journey that you need to take by yourself. Everyone's journey is different. So keep on trying things, mix up things, grow herbs, grow vegetables, grow fruits, grow whatever, even bananas. Just make sure that you enjoy the experience. If it becomes a task, it stops being enjoyable, and that's not the goal. The goal is to enjoy the journey and do experiments. There are no mistakes in the garden, only lessons. Thank you so much for watching this video, and always remember, if you have a vision, add some passion. I'll see you in the next one.